to the Power Progress podcast. I'm Becky Schultz with Power Progress, and here with me is Dr. Sebastian Schulte, CEO of Deutz. And we are going to be discussing recent activities within the company and their impact on its operations and future direction. Sebastian, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Becky. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. Good to see you again.
So let's dive straight in. Deutz has made some significant moves in terms of product portfolio leading up to and since the start of 2024. Can you touch on what the overarching strategy is behind some of the transactions that have taken place in the past year or so?
Sure, Becky. Look, we want to grow the company. We want to grow the company on the one hand in the space we're today active in. We call that our classic business, our classic engine business to be more precise. And that's our business where we're developing, producing, and selling diesel engines to off-highway segments, right? That's aspect number one. And we believe this is an aspect, or this is part of the business which has still quite a long and profitable future for us, and also for our customers. On the other hand, we want to continue to grow our successful service and aftermarket business. We recently announced that we're going to grow this business to a top line volume of 1 billion euro by the end of this decade. So that's another huge step up for us. And last but certainly not least, we also want to prepare Deutz for the future, for a future, let's say, beyond or in addition to what I just said. And we recently in our Capital Market Day announced that we're going to create a solutions segment, which comprises on the one hand of new technology offerings around hydrogen as well as battery electric solutions, but on the other hand also opens up the space for power generation with one of our recent acquisitions in the US.
Great. There have been several additions, as you've mentioned, to the product family, but let's first touch briefly on the sale of Torqeedo. Can you talk about the reasons behind the decision to divest that particular brand and what the value of that sale offers?
Sure, of course. I mean, initially when Deutz acquired Torqeedo some 5 years ago, the idea was to speed up the development of new technology of battery electric solutions for Deutz, and also win some synergies, particular in the space in the field for maritime applications. And some of these the purposes we envisaged were actually succeeded in. Like we certainly fast tracked the development of battery electric solutions. On the other hand, when we talk about synergies on the sales side, for example, we believe in hindsight that wasn't all, the best move, because Torqeedo is active in a space where we at Deutz were actually not. And on top of that, the business was still in the last years quite heavily loss-making, so impacting our P&L quite a bit, and didn't allow us for the best allocation of capital. So that's why we decided to divest. And eventually we sold the business to Yamaha Motors, and it's a true win-win transaction, because we now have free capital to invest in, let's say, more profitable business for Deutz and for Yamaha. As far as we understand, it really helped them to fast track their green product development. Yes, and in terms of proceeds, it helped us indeed, because in 2023, the business was loss-making, almost 25 million euro loss-making. So we eliminated that loss going forward. And we also got quite a fair price for that, which we can now reinvest in things which are more valuable for Deutz in the future.
Okay. So looking ahead at the recent changes, additions to the product portfolio, starting in late June, Deutz announced it had acquired Blue Star Power Systems. I'd like to find out what attracted the company to this particular organization, and how you anticipate using that acquisition to build Deutz's product portfolio and potentially its customer base.
Yeah, look, Becky, what we learned over the last 2 or 3 years as part of our strategy process is that we really wanted to engage Deutz more in the field of power generation, particular decentralized power generation, because that's one of the fields we have been active in, but only on a very, very low size, low magnitude, right? And then we went quite structured through this idea, through this perspective, and we realized that particularly the United States offers very attractive market for that. It's actually a result of the increased demand for electric energy, but also coupled with the challenges the national grids have, and also the challenges coming from the change of energy mix, more renewables, and that's very important to achieve CO2 neutrality, not only for us at Deutz, but for us as society. And that leads to the fact that the market is highly attractive. So we decided we want to be in that quickly rather than building something by ourselves. We thought, okay, let's look for a suitable acquisition target. And in the end, we identified Blue Star Power Systems, which, as we then learned throughout the process, is a great company in North Mankato. It's been built up over the last 20 years, has a fantastic reputation with the customers all over the United States. And we felt very privileged and honored that we could convince the previous owner to sell that business to us and to also stay on board as the CEO. And for us, it's a fantastic opportunity to enter this market with a bit of a bang. And so far, the business has been proving to be very, very good for us. And it's only the starting point. When I talked earlier about our energy business, that's exactly where we want to build it upon. And our energy business, we would like to develop to a top line level of 500 million euro or above by the end of the decade. And Blue Star plays an important role in that.
Okay. Another announcement that came out around that same time frame as the Blue Star acquisition was a cooperation agreement with TAFE Motors and Tractors in India. That was announced at the beginning of July. What does this agreement mean for both companies, and how do you anticipate it furthering Deutz's Dual Plus strategy?
Yeah, TAFE is one of the leading agricultural companies in India, and that's also a leading agricultural company in the world. And they're offering a series of brands in the tractor market. And they approached us and said, well, we want to upgrade their products with a Deutz engine. And we said, that's great. We're happy to do that. But obviously, as they're active in the Indian market and also producing out of India, it's fundamental for us that we offer something locally there, and that's also offering something at locally competitive prices. And that's why we partnered up and said, well, TAFE is going to produce Deutz engines under license primarily for the use in their tractors, but it also allows us to market these engines in markets in and around India under our own responsibility. And on top of that, when building up a local production in India for Deutz engines, we're talking here about a 2.2 and a 2.9 liter engine, it means also that we'll need a local supply chain. So many parts, not 100% of the parts, but a high share of the parts will be localized for this Indian production. And that also gives us this Deutz opportunity to use some or many, let's see how that works, of these Indian produced parts in our operations in Germany. And that makes us also, let's say, more resilient in terms of global supply chain. So it's another win-win situation, win-win transaction deal. And so far, the conversations and all the collaboration with TAFE has been incredibly positive. And we really believe we're here on eye-to-eye level, which is great and a good ingredient for a successful partnership.
Excellent. Now, one of the most recent announcements was the closure of a transaction with Rolls-Royce Power Systems to take over sales and service for select Daimler Truck industrial engines. What were the company's objectives with this transaction, and how does that all fit together with the previously announced alliance with Daimler Trucks?
Well, those two partnerships, or those two alliances, as you just called them, I mean, they are directly connected. So initially, we agreed with Daimler Truck that we as Deutz will be the exclusive off-highway distributor for their medium-duty and heavy-duty engines. The engines which Daimler Truck has developed, produces, and uses for their own trucks, right? But obviously, these great engines, they benefit from economies of scale, because when we talk about the heavy-duty engines, we'll talk about a couple of 100,000 on annual production. So that's obviously super beneficial in terms of economies of scale. And so these engines are very, very well suited for agricultural equipment, for construction equipment. And so initially, we concluded this exclusive distribution partnership between Daimler Trucks and Deutz for the years 2028 and beyond. And there is today, or there has been, I need to be precise, there has been in the past a similar agreement in place between Daimler Truck and Rolls-Royce Power Systems with the expiration of 2028. And after we concluded that partnership for the time beyond 28, we then agreed with Rolls-Royce Power Systems that we actually anticipate that partnership. So, and that's why, how you mentioned it, what we closed earlier this year, the beginning of August. So as of August 1st, we at Deutz are the exclusive distribution partner for off-highway for those great engines. And that gave us and is giving us access to a full load of new customer bases, mainly in Europe, but not only, also in the United States and in Asia, in the space of particular agricultural equipment, construction equipment, and forestry equipment. So it really adds up to our product portfolio in the space of the medium and heavy-duty engines.
It does seem like Deutz is really doubling down on the diesel engine technology with all of these recent acquisitions. Do you see that as continuing to be something that the company will focus on long term, or are you moving in a different direction at this point?
Well, we are continuing that path because we believe it's a right path. It's an important path for us, but even more importantly for our customers. We take the objective to achieve climate neutrality very, very seriously, and that's why it's very important for us to bring in new and environmental friendly CO2 low products to the market. But we also know that transition takes time, particularly in the field of off-highway, and there is still a very high demand for diesel engines out there. And we clearly position ourselves as one of the companies who, who really literally accompany the customers throughout that journey and don't leave them alone when things may become difficult in the near future. So yes, we'll continue to look into options, opportunities, and partnerships like the ones we just talked about. But on the other hand, it's extremely important for us as well to double down on new business fields like our green products, which we now label as new technologies. We are one of the pioneers when it came to bringing a hydrogen combustion engine not only into development but also into serial readiness. That's what we did earlier this year, and we're incredibly proud of that. And we're also offering a wide range of battery electric products. But true is also the demand for those products, whether it's going to be the battery electric ones or the hydrogen combustion, is still fairly limited. But it's important for us to be there when the demand picks off, and we'll continue to invest in these fields. But at the same time, we believe, particular for power ranges above 100 kilowatts, that there is quite some long useful life also for new products in the field of diesel. And that's why, as you rightly said, we're doubling down on that. And so far, we see that actually this has been a very, very wise decision that we pursued.
Excellent. So let's sum this all up. What does this all these changes and the acquisitions, the alliances, what does all this mean for Deutz long term? Where do you see the company heading, and how will these and other steps the company is taking right now going to help get you there? And I guess the next question is, what should we expect from Deutz in future?
So first of all, what does it all mean for us? I mean, we continue to grow. So first of all, particularly in Europe, currently the market is a bit in a difficult position, particularly construction and agricultural. So obviously we expect at some point in the next year a bit of a recovery, which is important, right? Because we want to grow the business again. On the other hand, we are continuing pushing our service business, which currently stands at a bit above 500 million euro. We are working on a continuous acquisition journey. We recently acquired our long-term service partner in Poland. Last year, we acquired our partners in the Nordics of Europe, as well as in Chile and Peru in South America. We've got a few ideas like that lined up to go further into the field, as I may say so. On the other hand, we want to continuously evaluate options when it comes to our classic business. Like we recently, as we just spoke about, closed a transaction with Rolls-Royce, as well as agreed the partnership with TAF. So that's very important. But also, we are going to further see how we can push our newly founded energy business, build on what we acquired in the US, but now evaluate also what we can add organically as well as inorganically in Europe or other parts of the world. And by all of that, and that's one of the announcements we made during our Capital Market Day, we want to double the business. We want to literally double the business. And I think that shows that we are optimistic, confident about the path we've taken. And that will obviously help us getting stronger. But on the other hand, and that's certainly at least as important, position ourselves as a strong partner to our customers on all the challenges they are facing. And what's next? Well, most of these aspects, of these partnerships do have a certain degree of confidentiality. So typically, we cannot announce what next. We have to take you a bit by surprise whenever we're ready to do so.
Well, I look forward to hearing about those surprises as they come up. Sebastian, this has been a great conversation. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Becky. As always, great pleasure.